Felix and Luna lived in a small town with their son Whisker. One day, Felix and Luna received an invitation to a grand event outside the country. Whisker's parents told him what the invitation was about, and it will require them to travel out of the country for some time. Whisker felt sad when his parents told him that he won't be embarking on the journey with them. Felix and Luna hurried packed her clothes and everything they will be needing throughout their stay outside the country. And because Whisker was too young to travel with them, they arranged for him a stay in a kind neighbor's house, Mrs. Paws, who was so happy to receive him. On the day of the journey, Felix and Luna, filled with excitement and anticipation, went to the airport and boarded a plane. After a few minutes, the plane took off and they marveled at the cloud below. After some time that the plane took off, it encountered a sudden storm. The wind howled and the rain splashed against the windows. The pilot lost control of the plane, and everybody was so scared. Felix and Luna held the paws, reassuring each other that everything was going to be all right. But the storm continued, and eventually the plane crashed into the ocean. Felix managed to hold on to a piece of wreckage and was searching for Luna, but he couldn't find her. After some time, a rescue boat arrived and rescued Felix, but Felix was shattered because Luna was gone forever. When Felix returned home, he was so broken, he often found himself gazing out the window thinking about Luna. After some time, Felix organized a burial ceremony for Luna in order to pay her last respect. Whisker felt devastated about the absence of his mother. He became fascinated with the idea of flight and would spend hours watching planes soar across the sky. Years passed, and Whisker worked tirelessly to achieve his dreams. He studied day and night, learning everything he could about aviation. His dedication paid off, and he eventually became a pilot. Whisker continued to work hard and show commitment to his work. He also kept the picture of his mom in the cockpit of his airplane in memory of her. One day, he encountered a storm during a flight, but he used all his training to ensure that everyone was safe. After that incident, he received a promotion because of how he managed the situation without any life lost. Whisker grew in popularity and became among the top pilots in the world. Max lives in a small town with her mom, who has been raising her since her dad passed away. Every night, Max sits by her dim candlelight, reading old newspaper that her mom do bring home. One day, she read about a girl that won an international award in chess, and this sprung up some thoughts in her. After much struggles, Max's mom was able to raise up some money in order to send her to school. Max focused on her studies, knowing the background she's coming from. One day, Max saw a group gathered around a chessboard. She was fascinated as they moved the pieces across the board. So she asked Mr. Whisker if she could learn to play. Mr. Whisker, after much deliberation, agreed to teach her during her free periods, and within weeks, Max became so skilled. News about Max's talent spread, and she was invited to participate in the local chess tournament. She won every match she played, which caught the attention of a wealthy sponsor, Sir Reginald's, who sponsored Max in the national and international chess competition. With Sir Reginald's support, Max was able to develop her talent the more. She participated in both the national and international chess competition, and although she played against tough opponents, she was able to win. At the final round of the international tournament, Max played against the world champion reigning. The match was intense, but at the end, Max was able to win the match, becoming the new world champion. On winning the grand chess competition, Max paid a visit to her hometown where she grew up. The entire neighborhood gathered to celebrate her. Max later went ahead to open a chess academy in order to mentor students. One day, Max received a letter from the Queen congratulating her on her achievements and impact, and also inviting her for a royal banquet. Marmalade is a bright orange cat from a wealthy home. He lives in a very beautiful house with a beautiful garden. Marmalade spends most of his time indoor and has no idea of what the outside world looks like. One day, Marmalade was playing in the garden and he noticed a tall wrought iron gate, driven by curiosity. He opened the gate and was surprised to find himself in a city bustling with people. As he continued to wander, he saw a group of cats that were walking about in the street. Marmalade had a deep desire to enjoy that kind of freedom that those cats had. As time goes on, Marmalade continued to sneak out of the house into the city. When his family noticed it, they warned him about it, but he didn't listen. One night, Marmalade left the house and never returned. Marmalade soon learned the harsh reality on the street when he came in contact with a rough group of cats that bullied and maltreated him. One day, Marmalade met Mr. Higgin, an elderly woman who had pity on him. She gave him food and allowed him to live with her. After some time, Marmalade starting, thinking about going back to the street. Despite how Mrs. Higgin was taking care of him, after so much thought, he went back to the street. It wasn't long. Marmalade got into a fight with a very bad group of cats that got him severely injured. He hurries back to Mrs. Higgin house, only to find out that she no longer lives there. Marmalade continues to live in the street. The life of freedom he desperately wanted turned out to be a life of hardship and sorrow. One day, Marmalade was sad of how his life on the street was and decided to go back to his family. When he returned home, his family was so happy to have him back and welcomed him joyfully.